Warm welcome to our distinguished guest and our alumnus of this college, Dr. Vidya Sagar Reddy garu, and our another alumnus, Iyengar garu, and my dear students and faculty from College of Agriculture, Rajnagar and PJTAU. And this is a very inspiring thing because these type of lectures inspires. Sir is also one among you like that in the 1978 he joined in this college, same like you, maybe in the terms of knowledge, in terms of anything that is very, very important. And they can share their experiences in the college and like that. And it is a very opportunity for the alumnus who completed from this college. It is a very good opportunity. And with this brief introduction, I want to introduce the today's guest. Graduated in April in the year 1982 and completed his post-graduation in agronomy in the year 1984. He was one of the top rankers in the college. He joined NABARD in the year 1985 and has vast experience in the fields of agriculture finance, rural development, and microfinance. He handled the assignments in his career in the NABARD and apex body of agriculture and rural development, served for 24 years in the NABARD, and worked with a German government agency as consultant on sustainable livelihoods for about 2 years, and worked as a director, Society for Elimination of Rural Poverty, Government of Telangana, which is shortly called as SERP, for 6 years with responsibilities of building self-help groups and their institution and self-help group bank linkage program. He was also founder, managing director, Stree Nidhi, established by the state government in the year 2011 in the wake of microfinance crisis in the state. He served Stree Nidhi as MD for 15 years and played a prominent role in its establishment and building it as a vibrant, dynamic, and low-cost social enterprise, providing cost-effective financial services at their doorsteps, which has become a model for the nation. And with this short introduction, I warm welcome our guests and also our director, CHRD, to this program, and warm welcome to all the students. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Good afternoon to all of you. I think Dr. Iyengar, who was my senior in college, we were together in the campus for 2 years. Spent 6 years of my life in the campus. It taught me not only academics, but also how to lead life. I think excellent learnings laid a roadmap for us to and molded us to achieve something. I still feel goosebumps whenever I go to airport, seeing the campus. Much love and affection we have towards the campus. So I am glad that I am invited by the university, the vice chancellor, and Dr. Iyengar to interact with you and share my experiences. Any of you have seen her? Anybody? But when I thought what to talk to you, suddenly this came into my mind in social media. The name you can see, Ashish Etvani, 25-year-old girl. She was Miss India International, then commissioned as a lieutenant colonel in Indian Army. See the transition. Same lady. She did her biotech from Pune, some research in IISc Bangalore. She is a very good basketball player, national shooter, and a Bharatanatyam dancer. I am not saying that everybody will pass through this stage. All of us cannot become definitely a very good player or Bharatanatyam dancer. More so, the beauty queen. What I trying to emphasize is, see, you are young, you are in the uh, rising stage. You are yet to form definite opinions of something. You are groping in dark to select your careers. You want to know. So she has chosen a career from beauty queen to lieutenant colonel. It means you have liberty to choose what you like, whether you continue your studies in agriculture, become a scientist, become a civil servant, like our Dr. Iyengar, and try to achieve something. So what is that? We have to do is we have to excel. We have to give 100% to what we do. Simple terms. You may remember me after 10 years, 15 years or so for listening to this type of sentences, basically. But you have to give 100%. You do what you like and put hard work. So that's how the transformation has taken place. I thought I should begin my talk with you, provoking you a little bit, so that you settle in the career liked by you. Various aspects. It is not that civil servants can impact or create impact on society. Even outside the system, also we can do wonders. I think this is the basic aspect I try to emphasize through these pictures. Coming to the subject part of it, I don't know how many of you are aware of microfinance. Have you heard? Any of you? Finance? Microfinance, small one. So why microfinance? And what is that impact that we can create through this microfinance, both in agriculture and on women particular? So I have been dealing with or handling the self-help groups for the last 15 years. Have you heard of self-help groups at least? Swayam Sahayaka Sangal. Many of you must be knowing that. Or some of your mothers also may be members of those groups also. So NABARD, you are aware, it's an apex institution for agriculture and rural development. It was created in 1982. It was carved out of RBI, Reserve Bank. So we happen to be first batch of direct recruits in NABARD. So I worked there for 23 years. Mine was a premature exit. I left the service early, to say. But then I joined SERP, Society for Elimination of Rural Poverty here. Worked for about 6 years in that institution. Then I was handed over this responsibility as MD, founder MD, by the state government. It was a wonderful experience. People were joking that in the last 1.5 months, I am appearing better. It means rural development, there is no dearth of work. So it's a work, continuous work, no respite if you want to do work. Incidentally, my wife is also from this university. I was asking her what to talk because I knew many of the girl students will be here. She was mentioning that you should ask them to focus on studies first. It is your bounden duty to learn. I know I have a big regret after leaving the campus. I used to go to library, but I was not reading. So many books now. I think we should really make use of the library, read or study. I was taught the difference between reading and studying also. If you study, it remains. If you read and memorize, it will go. We studied very hard for 271, 371, 241, 341. That temperature used to last for 2 days. But unless now you tell what is some Western name, we recollect, otherwise, it is out of mind. So, understanding is very, very crucial. Please make use of the library. Try to get clarity on concept. It will really help you wherever you go. There was one professor in Dr. Mutaya. He was delivering a talk in college, I remember in 82. So, like you, all of us, we were sitting. Then I asked him, very eminent personality, please tell us something about how to get a good job. That was the question I asked him. He said, you first study. You put your effort, that is your first duty. Your jobs will come to you automatically. No other response. I still remember that. There was another speaker. See, they create impact. This building was a empty ground when we were there. There was a lecture in adjacent horticulture class or extension. So somebody pointed out to the wild grass there from the windows and pruned grass and explained the difference between them. Pruned personality, groomed personality with character, integrity. I think they go a long way in leading a very good life. Coupled with knowledge, you can reach better heights. You can grow higher in life. With these things, I think go back to the subject part of it. My experiences in impact creation through agri and microfinance. I think profession wise, there is nobody to beat you because you are the indirectly. You should derive a lot of pride in being this profession, basically. The question arises now I am a layman. So what are the challenges in agriculture? The basic thing. For me, the concern is very high usage of fertilizers, adverse NPK ratio, overdose of weedicides, pesticides, residues in food grains, eatables, vegetables, fruits, eating ultra processed foods. In Peddapalli other day, I was reading in one district alone, 10,000 cancer cases were detected. I don't need to explain whether agriculture is sustainable in this fashion. To me, my experience says no. But what are the alternatives? Sustainable farming is one way. I think your young minds, you can brainstorm and show to the world that this could be the way out. Think about it. The challenges once they are known. If you study, jobs will come. You can become civil servant. You can become very good scientist. You can become a very good banker like me. Any field that way. You can become a social activist. You can establish a NGO and serve. But I think the basic responsibility lies with us to evolve solutions for the problems identified. When we studied agriculture, we thought we are specializing. But today, it is a common knowledge. Your internet stage, your chat GPT, now your upload. So all these things will enable you to learn much more than us. When we get a problem to find material for that, we were really searching. Now a question in chat GPT will help you out. Simply. So we need to make use of such a facility for constructive use of for society, basically. When we do something, always keep in mind society, because perspective, if you lose, you will not be able to expand your horizon of thinking, basically. Perspective is what agriculture. We need to feed millions of Indians, maybe to export. But if you see other countries like China and America, China with lesser area under cultivation producing much more than what we do. Concern is with overdose of fertilizers, pesticides, weedicides, we are not able to. And we need to think about it. Other day, Narendra, I was listening to a video. I think it is AgriHub. Incidentally, I am on the board of AgriHub once. So this AgriHub, I think in Medak district, some village I forgot, but I think robots, AI, sensors, drones. So one single village is adopted, and the university, with the help of somebody, is experimenting there. I was thinking, see, university has a plethora of innovations, knowledge. Now we have seen how whether the technology is going to the farmers or not, or they adapting or not. Now why not we shortlist some of the technologies evolved by research stations, university, and implement in few villages, one village per district. Go there, do the survey, baseline survey, then implement all the technology. Whether farmers will do, that they will adapt. Because they say they have been doing agriculture for ages, they know better than us. But to implement this technology, it has assured support that you will not lose income. Whatever you have been getting, you will be getting. And we assure you from the government side that we will reimburse in case you incur a loss. So these 30 villages in 30 districts, they'll become demonstrative models. So I think that should catch up. Otherwise, technology remains within the confines of research stations and the university. Some thinking is necessary. Now, agri-finance, you know the Indian financial system, basically, how it works. You have RBI at the top, then apex institutions like NABARD, SIDBI, SEBI, insurance regulator, pension regulator. Now, the next layer is we have commercial banks, cooperative banks, RRBs. Now, in addition to this, RBI has come out with many other institutions like small finance banks. You have payment banks. You have NBFCs. You have NBFC MFIs. So, cooperatives you must have studied. Started in 1904, first financial institutions. Then the commercial banks were nationalized in 1969 and 80. RRBs were created in 1975, and the other institutions have come up in the last 10 years. So the objective is of creating this type of institutions is India. You must have heard about financial inclusion. Many people, they are not extended financial services in the country. So these institutions will strive to reach out because one institution alone cannot render service in the nook and corner of the country. So these many institutions have been created to extend financial services. Now they have done excellent job. You may be wondering whatever package of practices or technology that you evolved, without financial support, the farmers would not have taken up. Basic things like borewell lift irrigations schemes, dairy development, poultry development, whatever it is. So these finance is very very crucial in terms of technology adoption there. That increased production, that increased productivity, expanded irrigated area in the country, and rural infrastructure development. Your roads were expanded, your bridges were constructed, your schools were constructed with the support of rural infrastructure development from NABARD. But a stage has come, still the benefits of these initiatives have not reached many. What is the alternative there? Banks, they were lending. See, branch network has expanded rapidly in the country. Almost 1.5 lakh branches and societies are functioning in the country now, but still they are not able to cover many. They are outside the system, borrowing from local money lenders at very high interest rates. Because I find it very convenient to borrow from a money lender instead of going to a bank many times because that involves cost. What is the cost? Going and coming, losing wages. If you add up all this, paying 3% to money lender, it appears to be better than going and making sorties to the bank branches. You understand? So that is what we say real cost and apparent cost. Apparent cost is something which is written on the loan document. We give loan at 12%. But when you add up this, it will go up to 20%. I find it convenient if local money lender is offering at that rate without creating any hassles. I will be happy to take it. So that's how the high cost borrowings are creating problem for farmers, women, all that. Now, in this context, we experimented with Raitu Mitra groups. They included female farmers and male farmers, mostly tenant farmers. Now in Telangana, a large number of farmers are tenant farmers. People are moving out. So whoever is there, they are taking land on lease and cultivating. So are they getting financial support from banking network? No, because banks don't have a system to lend to tenant farmers. So what was the alternative? I think I am talking about 2005. Raitu Mitra groups, about 5 or 10 farmers, small farmers, and tenant farmers. They were brought together, and the banks were requested to lend to them. In the present system, I think my banker colleague also will support me on this. A branch has about 3,000 to 4,000 farmers accounts. He has to renew it every year. Cropping season starts sometime in June. I need money in June. What happens? I'll give money. I will renew. Every day, even if I renew 10 applications of farmers, I can give 300 farmers loans in 1 month. And how many farmers I can cover? In 10 months, 10 months are required to cover 3,000 farmers. Is there any seasonality here? No purpose of giving loan because by the time the farmer harvests, so what is the alternative? You will get loan someday, but you will go to a fertilizer dealer or a pesticide dealer. He will enter into a deal. You provide me fertilizers, pesticides. I'll sell you the product, whatever output, crop output, and at a price decided by the dealer. Can you imagine the fate? He also charges interest on the fertilizers given, pesticides supplied. This is the fate of farmers. So at that time, in 2006, I think I remember, Raitamitra groups were thought of. These Raitamitra groups were to be treated as one loan. They'll come together, jointly apply for loan, and they will get a loan depending on the area of cultivation, whatever it is. This way, instead of giving a loan to individual, if you give a loan to group, you can cover 5 to 10 members at a time, or 10 days of work can be completed in 1 day. That way, still you can cover in 30 days all the farmers. So this was thought of. Even technology dissemination, whatever you have, it is easier to do when a group is there. You can talk to a group, whatever crops they cultivate, or in a village. So these broad advantages were there. We could successfully implement for 2 years. But then there is something called political risk. A scheme implemented by one government will not be continued. It happened, it met the same fate. Otherwise, it would have been an excellent example. It was welcomed by everybody. But strangely, it was shelved. I think this type of initiatives are required. More and more initiatives are required from everybody. Then coming to microfinance part of it. So without involving women. You call it with Bharat 2047 economic development. Is it possible? No, isn't it? You are literate, you are educated, you are fortunate to be in the Agriculture University College campus here, but many are not. Now, I remember in year 2000, people were not having much money, more so women. So they were asking their husbands to give some money for something. Even to go to their mother's house, you need to borrow. Of course, it is a grant, but still you need to ask husbands for it. In 2000, I was working in Kurnool district. Uh, we were forming SHGs, self-help groups, those days. After few months, their husbands were not allowing them to attend the meetings because these meetings are generally conducted in the evenings. So they said instead of cooking and preparing food, you are going out for the meetings at the cost of family. But after 3 months, same husband said, "Today is the meeting, you please go and attend." Because the creditworthiness of women has increased tremendously and they were able to support family. See, if you look at the SHG's part of it, how important role it has for impact creation. Now, Telangana has about 65 lakh women in SHGs, in about 6 lakh self-help groups. At country level, we have about 1.5 SHGs with about 15 crore members. Now, a woman can generally, assuming a size of family of 3 or 4 members, including husband, children. Now, 65 into, say, very conservatively, into 3 is how much? 65 into 3. Yeah, my wife told me one more thing also. Now I remember. They should be very good in Earth. They should be very good in English and general knowledge. Should give quick reply. 65 into 3, 100. What is the population of Telangana? I am not an alien, first of all. I am asking only questions which are pertinent to the state. What is the population of the state? Around? Good. What is the percentage of 195 in 3.4 or 5? Calculator also is not working. About 60%, 70%. And the 70. That means 65 lakh SHG members, their families constitute 70% of the population of Telangana. Likewise, 15 crore members at national level constitute about 60% of what is the population of country. Now, one, I will not punish you for wrong answer, no issue. 150 crores. So about 40 or 50% population is impacted by Andhra Pradesh. And now Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. They were pioneering this movement of SHGs in the country. They were torch bearers. That's why the SHG members' strength is high as compared to country level figures. But other states are also now catching up. So this is the importance of SHGs. I think if you must have read what is the position of India in world in terms of GDP, annual GDP. Now it has come down to or increased to 4. What is the GDP now size? 3 million, 4 million, 4 trillion. 1 trillion is how many lakhs? See again chat GPT. 100. And 1 trillion is 1 lakh crore. Okay. So 4 trillion is 4 lakh crore. By 2047, what is the expectation? What is the expectation? See, these are the things I think we need to keep track. Even if you want to be a good scientist in agriculture, you should be, you should have that conscience and know what is happening around you. Otherwise, you cannot evolve a good variety or a good practice or good technology, because you need to be sensitive to the needs of community basically. So if we have to achieve about 37 or 38 trillion by 2047, we have to carry women also with us. Otherwise, it will be elusive. They have to be partners in this, and all of us we need to strive for their development because of the importance that we discussed earlier. So, do they get money? Yes. But do they get in time? No. Do they get adequate money? No. Do they have skills to do any enterprise? No. But what is yes? Any girl can answer. You are trusted. Trustworthiness of woman is very high as compared to men, because men have proved themselves to be defaulters in loan. So you are sacred that way. So you are trusted. So in 1992, banks were asked to give loans to 500 SMEs on a pilot basis. It was very hard to convince banks to give loans because it was outside the routine lending methodology that way. But today, if you see, more than a crore is loans from banks. It's a great improvement. But see, overcoming poverty is not easy. Poverty has multi dimensions. We call it poverty. Anything called social poverty? Have you heard of it? Social poverty. So, whatever educational, our social backgrounds, health issues, they come under social poverty. Have you heard about environmental poverty? Anybody from Nalgonda district? I am not evaluating by putting quiz or periodical examination. Fluoride, water. It cripples body, bones. The persons drinking such water are incapacitated, so they live in poverty. That is environmental poverty. Now, how do we overcome all this? Of course, social sector, environmental sector, uh, government has to enter into and take measures. But then economic poverty, it can only facilitate credit flow from banking sector, maybe by giving some subsidies under certain schemes. But credit is one aspect without which we cannot really augment our incomes. So simple example is we fondly say Tata, Birla. Now you can add Ambani's and Adani's in that. So meanwhile, it has become a business proposition to banks. Today, if you go to any rural bank branch, without a portfolio, that will be in loss. So after crop loans, this is the second best portfolio to them. But seeing this opportunity, microfinance institutions have entered the picture. They saw very big opportunity of making money. They started charging 60% interest per annum. Can you repay if you take 100 rupees on loan with 60% interest? Is it possible? How do you repay? Can you generate that much income to repay? Is it possible? But they made crores of rupees profit. In Andhra Pradesh, particularly, the platform was ready for them because many SHGs were created by the government, and they started lending to them. And till 2010, I remember, almost the lending by the microfinance institutions and the banks, it was more or less equal. Banks were not giving adequate, so they were going to money lenders and microfinance institutions. And seeing one MFI, many other MFIs entered into the picture. They started lending to the same individual, 3 or 4 loans at a very high interest rate, and they were not able to repay. That led to suicides, debt trap. They were not able to come out. So that led to suicide by 77 women in the state. It created hue and cry. The government brought a act for stopping the operations of such MFIs, which led to RBI. They have first time brought some policy with regard to interest rates to be charged by MFI. Again, that goes to the credit of the state. I was there in the process at that time. But then the government was admonished, saying that why you should enter into the business of finance. Why did you stop MFIs from lending? MFIs, when they stopped, money lenders were on the increase. They were charging still higher rate of interest. At times, 10% per month. That is 120% per annum. You know, street vendors, so shandies low, they borrow at 10% every day. I borrow 1,000. Those money lenders, they deduct 10% in advance upfront. That means how much they will give? 900. Evening you have to return 1,000. 10% per day for 365 days. What is the interest rate? It doesn't require calculation. 365 and unbelievable. అందుకని క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ 3,650% interest rate. So these type of practices have to be curbed definitely. And in that situation, to overcome the criticism and to stop MFI lending, the act was brought in, and MFIs could not lend in the state. At that time, the state government thought Stree Nidhi should come. Have you heard of Stree Nidhi name? Anybody? None of you. I think I should come and trouble you hereafter. Stree Nidhi is a federation of Apex Federation. It is a federation of federations. Now, just to give an idea to you, at village level, in each village, about 30 SHGs will be there roughly. Each SHG with about 10 or 11 members. Now at village level, we have a village organization. They are federated at mandal level as mandal samakyas. Now these mandal samakyas are federated into Stree Nidhi. So this is the structure broadly. So mandal samakyas are shareholders in along with the state government. So this was created in 2011 with an objective to provide finance to at a very low cost at their doorstep. Branch ki you don't need to come, don't need to waste time. You go to the village, lend there. So that's how it has become a very cost effective. Now banks generally they don't give loans to vulnerable sections in society like SCs or STs. We have allocated specifically to meet the credit needs of such category of SHG members in each village. So that much should essentially go to them. Then, of course, livelihoods is there. We have provided saving avenues also to them, deposits to SHGs, and other services like micro insurance and business correspondent services. Branches cannot be there everywhere. So branch representatives employed by Stree Nidhi will be operating in each village. They will be extending banking services on behalf of banks to the rural people. So these are the unique features of Stree Nidhi basically. We disburse credit in 48 hours. That too using digital technology. Stree Nidhi is totally digitalized end to end. A loan origination, appraisal, disbursement, repayment, everything. Then we don't finance SHGs which are defaulters to banks. So that is to ensuring proper due diligence. So it's a community-owned financial institutions. Cost-effective credit delivery system. I told you, you don't need to make any sorties to the bank branches. You can take loan at village, at doorstep using digital technology. So your cost of borrowing has come down drastically. So we do grading also, how village organization functions. Based on that, we fix credit limit, whether to give 1 crore or 75 lakhs or 50 lakhs. So the SHG federations, they provide last mile connectivity. The sense they price loans, then they also ensure disbursal and utilization also. It's a self-sustainable organization. Very first year onwards, we have been making profits very first year, and perhaps it is a only state government promoted entity which pays dividend to the government because they have invested about 50 crore capital in the institution. We are paying 14% dividend on that share capital to the government. So I mentioned total digitalization. We use tablet PCs in each village or mobiles. Loan application is digitalized. Loan appraisal is digitalized. Loan disbursement is digitalized. It is credited directly to the accounts of. There is no pilferage. Totally transparent operations. You can repay the loan using UPI, Google Pay, or Phone Pay, whatever it is. We have started using the network of post offices also for repayment. This was recently presented to Government of India by the Postal Department, and they have made it as a case study for Harvard University. We have also made available one app in their mobiles. You can download the app if you are a SHG member with Android facility phone. You can see the transactions of that particular SHG, particular member, except internet banking. All other transactions are made transparent. Now, biometric attendance. I think we have introduced about 8 years back or so. First time by any organization in the state. There was a lot of resistance because we monitor their movements through GPS. Because our staff have to move around in the villages. We should know which village they are going, how much time they are spending there. All this is captured electronically using GPS. But eventually they got used to it now. No resistance, fortunately. Fintech company. Anybody borrowed? No, shouldn't borrow. It is very dangerous. So fintech is financial technology companies which are lending very high cost again. We are using the technology and it is a startup started 15 years back. So we have scaled up a startup to this level and it has become a role model to the country now. We are very proud of the organization. We call Telugulo tagline Stree Nidhi Peda Mailala Penny. So I mentioned about microfinance institution, how it compares. You can look at. We borrow from banks at 9%, they borrow at 10.5%. They lend at 21%. We lend at 11%. And our cost of operation is just 0.5, whereas theirs is 4.5%, 4 to 5%. What we are left with is just 0.5%. They are left with 7 to 8% margin overall. So, but with still this level of margins, we earned a profit of 150 crores last year. Today, our net worth is around 1300 crores, very huge. So, this is the general body we conduct every year. I choose our campus only for this, the auditorium near the ground. I think last 3 or 4 years we have been conducting this meeting. Our 700 Mandal Samakya presidents, they come and attend. They are the shareholders in this. It's a big event attended by the RD minister also, the secretary RD also, CEO sir, they participate. So these are the services I mentioned: credit, deposits, business. Loan Suraksha is one thing. I think it's a very interesting scheme. If borrower member takes a loan of 1 lakh and she dies, say after repaying 50,000, loan balance is 50,000. How do they repay? Say the member life is lost. Somebody has to repay from family. They will be in difficulty. They will not be able to do it. So what our scheme is, we collect a nominal premium, very nominal. So if she repaid 50,000 and outstanding yet to be repaid is 50,000 out of 1 lakh, we waive 50,000 loan balance to be repaid by that lady and also refund 50,000 repaid by her to the family. Did you see such an insurance scheme anywhere? So this is what this institution's strength is. It can customize also loan products or any services. So that has a huge impact on them. It's a very successful scheme implemented by us. Yeah, we have about 6,000 crore total business now. You can see if you understand financial language. Srinidhi, banks MFI కి ఆర్డినెన్స్ వచ్చినాక చాలా మంది లోన్ కట్టలే. సో బ్యాంక్ బారోయింగ్స్ అన్నవి ఎంఎఫ్ఐస్ దే డి నాట్ రీపే. ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ పెట్టిన బ్యాంక్స్ దగ్గరికి లోన్స్ గురించి దే ఫ్లాట్లీ రిఫ్యూజ్డ్. మా లోన్ పోర్ట్ఫోలియో మీరు నాశనం చేశారు స్టేట్ లో, మేము మీకు లోన్లు ఇవ్వం. ఈరోజు అంటే రివర్స్, మేము ఇంకా లోన్స్ ప్లీజ్ తీసుకోండి అంటే అవర్ క్రెడెన్షియల్స్ ఆర్ లైక్ దట్. We never defaulted in the last 15 years to any bank. It is in the interest of bank borrowings 33 కోట్ల అవుట్స్టాండింగ్ ఉంది. స్కీమ్స్ ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేసాం మనము. అలా క్లైమేట్ ఫైనాన్సింగ్ కూడా ఒకటి, అంటే వి ఇన్నోవేటెడ్ దేర్. సోలార్ హౌస్ కానీ, ఎలక్ట్రిక్ ఆటోస్ కానీ, ఎలక్ట్రిక్ బైక్స్ కానీ, ఈ ఆర్గానిక్ ఫార్మింగ్ కి ఫౌండేషన్ వాళ్ళు నేను యూనివర్సిటీ వాళ్ళని కూడా కాంటాక్ట్ చేశాను. He said we will allocate 500 crores for organic farming, exclusive. ఏంటి బేసిక్ గా ఎన్పిఎం షాప్స్ ఉన్నాయి టు ప్రమోట్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ లైక్ దిస్. దర్ ఇస్ నో ఎంకరేజింగ్ రెస్పాన్స్. ఐ థింక్ వీ నీడ్ టు గివ్ ఏ ట్రస్ట్ టు ఇట్. సో జనరిక్ మెడికల్ స్టోర్స్ అంటే ఇక్కడ మెడిసిన్స్ చీప్ గా దొరుకుతాయి యాజ్ కంపేర్ టు అదర్స్ ఆల్ జనరిక్ మెడిసిన్స్. డైరీ 80,000 యానిమల్స్ ఫైనాన్స్ చేసాం స్టేట్ లో. Can you imagine? 80,000 animals, dairy animals, we financed. So, customizing centers, all agriculture implements in demand in that mandal were financed by us. 3 కోట్లు. Street vendor scheme lo we got a national award in our category as the best performer. ఈ రోజు బ్యాంకుల కంటే ఎక్కువ వడ్డీకి ఎస్హెచ్జీలకి లోన్లు ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ గా శ్రీనిధి ఎదిగింది. టెక్నికల్ గా మీరు ఇంకా డీటెయిల్ గా పోలేవు. ఐ ట్రై టు మేక్ ఇట్ వెరీ సింపుల్ దట్ వే. సోషల్ ఆడిట్ గురించి విన్నారా? అంటే నేషనల్ రూరల్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ గ్యారంటీ స్కీమ్ లో సోషల్ ఆడిట్ అంటే ఖర్చు పెట్టింది అమౌంట్ ఖర్చు పెట్టారా లేదా ఇవన్నీ చూస్తారు. అలాంటి సోషల్ ఆడిట్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేశాం. దేనికి? ఇచ్చిన లోన్లు సరిగ్గా వాడుతుందా లేదా, అసెట్స్ క్రియేట్ అవుతున్నాయా లేదా, ఏ బ్యాంకులు అంటే సోషల్ ఆడిట్ లో ఆ విలేజ్ లో ఉన్నటువంటి ఎస్ఎస్జి మెంబర్స్ అందరూ ఒక దగ్గరికి వచ్చి శ్రీనిధి నుంచి ఈ లోన్స్ వచ్చాయి, దీన్ని ఎలా వాడినారు, పబ్లిక్ సమక్షంలో డిస్కషన్ జరుగుతుంది. మిస్యూజ్ అయితే ఇమీడియట్ గా బయటికి కూడా వస్తుంది. అంటే ఇలాంటి బెస్ట్ ప్రాక్టీసెస్ మనం ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేయాలి. లాస్ట్ 10 ఏళ్లలో మనం ఒక 1%, మనం 11% ఛార్జ్ చేస్తాం ఇంట్రెస్ట్. 1% అన్నది మనము కమ్యూనిటీ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ కి రిటర్న్ ఇచ్చాం. అంటే అవి స్ట్రెంథెన్ చేయడానికి లోకల్ ఏంటి అవి ఫైనాన్షియల్ స్ట్రెంథెనింగ్ జరిగింది. ప్రాంప్ట్ రీపేమెంట్ చేస్తే 0.5% ఇంట్రెస్ట్ తగ్గిస్తుంది. ఈ సెల్ఫ్ హెల్ప్ గ్రూప్స్ నుంచి, బికాస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ దేర్ ఓన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్, ఒక 70 ఎస్హెచ్జి మెంబర్స్ ని రిటర్న్ ఎగ్జామ్ పెట్టి సెలెక్ట్ చేసి అసిస్టెంట్ మేనేజర్స్ గా రిక్రూట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. ఐ థింక్ దట్ ఈస్ ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్స్ కైండ్. అంటే కార్పొరేట్ సోషల్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ అని ఉంటుంది. కమ్యూనిటీకి ఏం చేస్తున్నాం మనము? 4% నెట్ ప్రాఫిట్ ఈ ఎస్హెచ్జిలు వాళ్ళ ఫెడరేషన్స్ స్ట్రెంథెన్ చేయడానికి ఇస్తాం. 2% ప్రాఫిట్ ఇలాంటి కార్పొరేట్ అంటే సోషల్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ కొరకు కేటాయించాము. ఈ 2% ప్రాఫిట్ డిజేబుల్డ్ చిల్డ్రన్ ఉంటారు ఎస్హెచ్జి మెంబర్స్ కి, వాళ్ళ సెంటర్స్ కి ఇస్తున్నాం. లక్షల్లో వి హావ్ రీచ్డ్ అవుట్ టు 33 lakh పీపుల్ క్యుములేటివ్ గా లోన్ డిస్బర్స్మెంట్ వీళ్ళకి. నేషనల్ లెవెల్లో మనకు రికగ్నిషన్ ఒక హై లెవెల్ కమిటీ స్టడీ చేసి మోడల్ ను మిగతా స్టేట్స్ లో రిప్లికేట్ అన్నది నిర్ణయించారు. యువర్ దేర్ ఇన్ దట్ మీటింగ్స్ ఢిల్లీలో. ది గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా ఇస్ రిటర్న్ టు ఆల్ ది చీఫ్ సెక్రటరీస్ టు రిప్లికేట్ దిస్ మోడల్. ఇది రిప్లికేట్ చేస్తే ఒక 110 crores పర్ స్టేట్ సీడ్ క్యాపిటల్ ఇస్తామని కూడా అష్యూరెన్స్. ఇప్పుడు రాజస్థాన్ లో, మేఘాలయలో స్టార్ట్ అయింది ఆల్రెడీ. మేఘాలయను కర్ణాటకలో తొందరలోనే స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. మిగతా స్టేట్స్ కూడా దే ఆర్ కమింగ్ ఫార్వర్డ్. ఈ 48 గంటల్లో క్రెడిట్ అన్నది నీతి ఆయోగ్ వైస్ చైర్మన్ ఈజ్ అప్రిషియేటెడ్ అంటే పబ్లిక్ లీడ్ ప్రెస్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ లో. ఆర్బీఐ ఇన్నోవేషన్ అవ్వని ఉంటుంది. అసలు ఇట్లాంటి డిజిటల్ లెండింగ్ ఎక్కడా లేదు. ఇట్ ఈస్ ది బెస్ట్ ప్రాక్టీస్ ఇన్ ద కంట్రీ అని మనకు ఒక సర్టిఫికెట్ లాగా ఇచ్చారు. కొన్ని స్టడీ ఫైండింగ్స్ కూడా ఇది చాలా ఇంపాక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసింది ఎస్హెచ్జిసి మీద. చాలా యాక్టివిటీస్ ఫైనాన్స్ చేసాము, వాళ్ళ ఇన్కమ్ లెవెల్స్ పెరిగినాయి, చాలా లాభమైందన్నది కూడా సర్టిఫై చేశారు. ఈ అల్టిమేట్ గా బిఫోర్ సేయింగ్ థ్యాంక్ యూ, వాట్ యూ సీ ఇన్ దిస్? వాట్ ఇస్ దట్? యు ఆర్ సేయింగ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ యాజ్ lion, even though we are cat. Is it? We have to dream big, basically. Though not lion, at least you may become tiger. But if see the reverse, if lion is outside, ఇప్పుడు లయన్ బయట ఉందనుకోండి, మిర్రర్లో క్యాట్ ఉంటే, ఇఫ్ లయన్ ఈజ్ అవుట్ సైడ్, మిర్రర్లో క్యాట్ కనపడితే అప్పుడు యూ హ్యావ్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ రియలైజింగ్ యువర్ పొటెన్షియల్. ఈ డిఫిడెన్స్, ల్యాక్ ఆఫ్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ వెరీ డేంజరస్. నాకు ఉండేది. ఐఎమ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఆదిలాబాద్, ఒక బ్యాక్వర్డ్ విలేజ్ నుంచి. నేను మనకి ఇక్కడ కాలేజీకి వచ్చినప్పుడు అసలు ఈ డే స్కాలర్స్ చూస్తే వీళ్ళు మనుషులేనా అన్నట్టుండే. నాకు ఛాయ్ తాగే అలవాటు కూడా లేదు. వాళ్ళందరూ క్యాంటీన్లకు పోతే వీళ్ళకి ఏం పని పాట లేదా అనుకునేది. అంటే దట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఇది. క్లాస్లో అంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ బ్లోయింగ్ మై ఓన్ ట్రంపెట్, కానీ క్లాస్లో ఐ వాజ్ షాక్. కానీ చూశాను కొన్ని రోజులు. ప్రొఫెసర్ అడిగిన దానికి క్వశ్చన్కి ఆన్సర్ తెలుసు నాకు, బట్ ఐ వాజ్ నాట్ కమింగ్ అవుట్. అది ఎవరు చెప్పేవాళ్ళు కాదు, నేను కూడా చెప్పేవాడిని కదా ఆఖరికి. అరే ఇట్లా ఎందుకు ఉంది అన్నది ఐ ట్రై టు రెక్టిఫై మై సెల్ఫ్. యూ హ్యావ్ టు హార్నెస్ యువర్ పొటెన్షియల్ బేసికల్లీ. యూ డ్రీమ్ బిగ్ అండ్ I wish you all the best for giving this opportunity. I also thank Dr. Iyengar sir and also the Vice Chancellor for providing me this opportunity, and also Narendra.
Thank you, sir. Once again, thank you.